Washington to hold interviews with key White House personnel. E. Frederick Morrow is one of President Eisenhower's top aides. Mrs. Lois Lippman is first Negro woman to be appointed a White House secretary. Mr. Frederick Morrow, as a member of President Eisenhower's White House staff, tell us something about your job.
Mr. Alexander, I think my job is one of the most dramatic symbols of the Eisenhower philosophy of democracy. That a man should have the right to rise in the world as far as his ambition, his character, and preparation can carry. Neither the President nor I had any desire for me to come to Washington to do the thing customarily expected of Negro office holders, that of being an advisor on racial matters. When a president believes in one kind of citizenship for all Americans, first-class citizenship, he does not need advice on how to mete out any special kind of treatment or attention to the Negro segment of the population. Consequently, my job is of the same quality, consequence, and responsibility of any of his administrative assistants. By the same token, the President has granted me the same privileges and emoluments of office that he has granted to all other assistants.
Mrs. Lois Lippman, Byline is pleased to visit you here in your White House office. Tell us, as the first Negro member of the White House staff, what your duties are.
Well, my duties are regular secretarial duties. Being here in the White House staff, of course, has been one of the most interesting and challenging experiences of my whole life. I came here in January of '53, at the very beginning of this administration, and I've worked for several of the important men on the staff. For instance, Governor Sherman Adams, Mr. Nelson Rockefeller, and Mr. Fred Seaton, who is now Secretary of the Interior, Mr. Charles Willis, and I am presently Secretary to Mr. Thomas Pike, who's a Special Assistant to the President in charge of liaison with the executive departments and agencies.
Where do you hail from?
I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. I worked on the Eisenhower campaign out of New York City.
As one of the producers of Byline Newsreel, we're very privileged to be in the office of Mr. J. Ernest Wilkins, Assistant Secretary of Labor in charge of International Labor Affairs. Won't you tell us something of the duties of your office?
I'm required to participate in the general program planning and in the general policy development and determination of the Department of Labor. Secondly, I'm required to participate and present appropriation requests and the department's position on legislation before the Congress in the area assigned to me. Thirdly, I serve by presidential appointment as United States representative on the governing body of the International Labor Organization and also as the head of the American government delegation to the Conference of the International Labor Organization. I also serve as the Department of Labor representative on the Board of Foreign Service of the Department of State and on the President's Committee on Government Employment Policy. In addition to these duties, I also serve as the chairman of the Interdepartmental Committee on International Labor Policy. I'm responsible for all of the work of the Department of Labor, and particularly of the Office of International Labor Affairs in the Department of Labor.
Competition in all events is sharper this Olympic year than it has been in a long time. Top-notch Air Force athletes, together with others from all over the U.S., pit their strength and endurance against stopwatch and measuring tape in the U.S. track and Olympic field trials at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The U.S. Air Force will be well represented on the 1956 Olympic team. George Mattis, although bettering the old pole vault meet, marked by 2 inches, falls 3 inches short of the Reverend Bob Richards, who tops 15 feet 1 inch. Matters places second with 14 feet 10.5 inches. In the track trials, another airman, Thane Baker, qualifies in 2 events, the 100-meter and 200-meter dashes. Cum Lee of the Air Force qualifies in the 400-meter dash, Lon Spurrier in the 800 meters, and Jerry Smart as alternate in the 10,000-meter run. Competition in all events is sharper this Olympic year than it has been in a long time. Top-notch Air Force athletes, together with others from all over the U.S., pit their strength and endurance against stopwatch and measuring tape in the U.S. track and Olympic field trials at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The U.S. Air Force will be well represented on the 1956 Olympic team. George Mattis, although bettering the old pole vault meet, marked by 2 inches, falls 3 inches short of the Reverend Bob Richards, who tops 15 feet 1 inch. Matters places second with 14 feet 10.5 inches. In the track trials, another airman, Thane Baker, qualifies in 2 events, the 100-meter and 200-meter dashes. Cum Lee of the Air Force qualifies in the 400-meter dash, Lon Spurrier in the 800 meters, and Jerry Smart as alternate in the 10,000-meter run. To the backdrop of rippling water and a resort hotel, the Washington chapter of the Continentals are hosts in Colton, Maryland, at the last outing of the season. The refreshing water of the hotel pool is a haven for the guests and members from other chapters, all on the eastern seacoast, who are on hand for the festivities. One of the highlights of the weekend was a party given at the smart country home of the Charles Jacksons. Mrs. Jackson is a Washington Continental.